Some people are just born with a chip on their shoulder. Everybody hates me. Nobody likes me. I think I'll go eat worms. We're talking Eeyore here, okay? In human flesh. Oh, I don't have any friends. Oh, I hate my hair. Oh, I'm no good at sports. Oh, I'm a terrible writer. Oh, I can't do good in school. Oh, I'm not as smart as my brothers and sisters. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, poor me, poor me. Why me? Why me? It is good to have you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. If there is someone in your world who is like this, you are going to understand what I say to you when I say, these people will wear your behind out. I mean, they are exhausting. And maybe you have a child who is born with a natural tendency to be this, oh, poor me person. Because, oh my word, they definitely exist. I definitely have a sibling or two that fit into this category, so I kind of know it. What in the world do you do as a parent to help your child who is this person? Great question. I'm so glad you asked. Today on Paint a Beautiful Picture, we're going to talk about how to parent the perpetual pessimist, honestly, because they do exist in the world. So one of the things you need to do is notice when they do it right. And you really need to make a big deal out of that. Wow, look how great you did on that. I know it's not as good as Billy's. No, we're not talking about Billy. You, you did great on that. Wow, what an amazing picture. You did so great in pitching that game today. You were so awesome in your dance recital. You played that piece so beautifully today when you were practicing. Notice when they get it right. Make a really big deal out of it because they need this. They need something external that's going to start to invade their world and refute their oh, poor, pitiful me story. They need another story, and they need it to be pretty vivid and reasonably strong. And as the mom or the dad, you are in the unique position of helping them gain that other perspective, that the world is not always against them and they are not always doing it wrong. So you need to offset that and notice when they do it right. The other thing you need to do is give them some tools. They are not born with tools in their toolbox. As you know, lots of people are born with lots of things missing in their toolbox. It is our privilege and our place as parents to give those things to them. So obviously they are missing the perspective of joy and beauty and I can in their world, and you need to give that to them. You need to be able to hand all of those tools to them. So even in the middle of a big scenario where, oh, I messed up and it was terrible and I'm so embarrassed and nobody likes me and blah, after 2 or 3 minutes of that, you need to stop them cold and say, but tell me what went right. Oh, nothing went right. Oh, no, things went right. Tell me what went right. We'll talk about a school play. Okay, so there was a little girl and she was the angel. She didn't have any speaking parts. She wanted to, and she did have a really nice voice, but she was young and she didn't get a speaking part. She was the angel. And she had on little white tennis shoes so she could be quiet, but she tripped over something and all this racket happened and all these people are looking at her, especially the kids in the play, because all she was supposed to be was to be very inobtrusive, come in and be quiet and stand there and look pretty, but instead she knocks all this stuff over and makes all this big hullabaloo. Yeah, she didn't do what she was supposed to. So later she's like, oh, I messed up the whole play and I was terrible and everybody hates me and they'll never let me have another part in the play. Give her a minute or so and then say, do you know what? That wasn't your fault. That had nothing to do with you. Someone put that stuff there that wasn't supposed to be there. That wasn't about you. You did great. You kept your composure. You stood there. Even when other people were snickering and looking at you and making ugly faces, you stayed very calm. That was amazing. I don't even know if I could have done that. You did great. That was really good. You're a beautiful angel. You still are a very beautiful angel. It was really nice. And so it was good. Yes, it was a little disruptive for a minute or two, but that could have been any other person on the stage that tripped over that stuff. It just so happened that it was you. But it was a beautiful play. You did not ruin it. In fact, if anything, you gave it a couple of seconds of humor. I know, and I don't like it when anyone's laughing at me. Okay, I get that really well. But do you know what? It was a beautiful play, and you were a part of it, and you were an important part of it. Bring that perspective back around because they may not have it themselves. And they might need you to help them see what was good and what was beautiful, even in what happened. It gets a little more challenging when it's relational. So we'll say a 14-year-old girl whose boyfriend breaks up with her and she really is heartbroken and she's like, why me? Now he's going out with this cheerleader girl who's 100 times prettier than me and I can't believe it. And you can say, do you know what? I understand that you're very sad. I get this. And you're really disappointed. And that level of betrayal and rejection is awful. I really get that, honey. Most people, though, don't marry the person that was their boyfriend when they're 14 years old. The good news is you have more time. Chances are you're going to find someone who's going to love you and appreciate you for who you are and think you are incredibly beautiful and you are really amazing like I think you are. This is a very big deal when it comes out of the mouth of her dad. Just so you know, dads, don't leave all that messy emotional stuff up to your wife because your daughter might need to hear from you, just so you know. And you give your child the other viewpoint or a bigger viewpoint or another perspective that helps them to get past the why me, throw a pity party. And sometimes they need a good sharp smack that gets their attention. And that's when I will use the language both in counseling and at a personal level and say, you know what? If you throw a pity party, you can send out all the invitations you want. But chances are good no one is going to come because no one wants to join you at your pity party. That's very true. Do you know it? We can take a couple minutes and feel sad and feel bad, even feel self-pity. Go through it. We can. That's okay. Feel all those emotions. Go ahead. But you can't live there. And I have said more than one time to my sons and even to a couple of my grandsons, you can fall in the mud. You can bemoan the fact that you tripped, that there was a rock, that it rained, that you're dirty, that you're wet, that you hate it, that it's cold. You can go on and on and on and on. But you know what? You got to get up out of the mud puddle and keep on walking. And that is what our kids need to learn. Okay, great. I get it. It was a terrible, bad, horrible, rough, awful day, and you don't feel good about it. But get up. I am not going to let you lay down and sleep in this mud puddle and wallow. I'm just not going to let you. Get up. If you have a banged up knee, we'll clean it off and put a Band-Aid on it. If you stubbed your toe, we'll wash it off. We'll clean it up. We'll put a Band-Aid on it. If you need a couple stitches, we'll go get you some stitches. Of course, I'm talking metaphorically here now. In your heart, if part of it is broken, in your ego, if some of you is wounded, if you're struggling a bit, I'm going to be here and I'm going to help you, but I am not going to let you lay down and wallow in the mud like a pig because you're not. So get up and keep on going. You're going to be a cheerleader a little bit here with this kind of kid. Let me tell you some of the bad news. You let this keep going. By the time your kid is 10 or 12, you're going to have a severely depressed human living at your house. It's going to be very tough to get them out of it. You've got to start dealing with this stuff when they're 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, you need to be with your child. As we know, you've got to spend some time and get a grip and look at that child and pay attention to that child and know who you're dealing with. And you're dealing with this kind of Eeyore kid who everything is awful. And even when the sun's out, oh, it's terrible. It's a dark, horrible day. Yeah, you've got to know this and you've got to be able to handle it. And hopefully some of these things are tools in your hands to help you as a parent help your child. The last thing I'm going to say on this subject to you is this. If you are that person and then you have a child like that and you start developing some of these skills, you're doing both of you a gigantic favor. You are learning to see the world and approach life differently, and you're helping your child do it right along with you. Things are far better caught than taught. So if you catch on to this idea about how to encourage yourself and gain perspective and get yourself up out of that mud puddle and brush yourself off and keep on going, then your child will see it and understand it. I can do this too. In my lifetime, at various points, I have struggled with depression. Much of the time for good reason, very, very occasionally for basically no reason whatsoever. But I know how to live with it. I have a son who has struggled with depression. Because I know how to live with it, I've been able to help him. And most of the time, live with it without medication, live with it without serious ramifications, go to work every day, manage my life, manage my children, function, truly function, in spite of how I was feeling. So I'm not talking about this as an idea. I'm talking about this as a reality. It is possible, even if you are that kind of Eeyore person, to live a beautiful, meaningful life. And it might take you, Dad, it might take you, Mom, being a cheerleader, teaching your child how to gain perspective and how to fight back against the doldrums and get up out of the mud when they fall. My challenge question for you today is this. Wow, do I have a why me kind of a kid? Or am I a why me kind of a person? And if so, what am I going to do about it? Thank you so much for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.